And we are live. I'm going to give it a second. Usually my ex family is first to the party, so thank you. Do me a favor, family, while you are trickling in, whether you're live or even on replay, if you're a replay viewer, as we say in Hawaii, mahalo nui loa, much appreciated. I also want to just take a minute to say much mahalos to my family out there in Oahu. 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions. They are a company that is based out in Hawaii, but they offer services in Arizona as well. They are 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC. This episode is brought to you by my friends out there in Oahu, 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions. If you're looking to just enhance your, whether it's home protection, self-defense tactics. Matter of fact, David Padilla, he is actually a police officer out there in Hawaii. He's one of the guys I did this podcast with several months ago. And so he agreed to become a partner. So we're just grateful for that team. If you guys want to get any of the services, whether it's for pistol training, if you're a security guard or even law enforcement, or maybe you need private security, my friends at 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC.com. Tell them Greg sent you. There's a promo code gLO, and you get $25 off of any services or training that they offer. So got that out of the way. Family, I'm very excited. I've got a guest today that I met on Spaces, which is like an audio podcast in a room setting, if you will. So if you can picture a podcast, but instead of one guy speaking, you've got sometimes anywhere from 20 up to literally 1,000 people in a room, and everybody's listening to someone speak. Well, I met this gentleman on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I can't remember which one I seen him in or heard him in, but I knew already immediately that this guy was of a different fabric. And I hate using the word resonated, but there's a few connecting points that I will say that really got my attention. And we'll talk about it, but he is, I can't remember what state he's in, but I do know that he has, if I remember correctly, like an island mentality. Everybody knows that I'm from an island, so I'm a typical island boy, but he is it's a blessing to have him here today. His name is Coach Turby. He's a father, husband, entrepreneur. He's an author, public speaker. He's also the founder of, it's called Turby Academy. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but I want you guys to get a chance to meet him, and I'm excited and honored and blessed to have him here. So we're just going to hang out, family. We'll be back in about 44 seconds. I want you guys to get your notepads ready, take some notes, get your coffee, whatever it is you drink. We're going to hang out for a good, at least an hour or so, talk story, get to meet Coach Turby. Here we go. It's good to see you, bro. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you, Greg?
I'm good, man.
Happy to be here. Appreciate you having me on your show.
Family's all good?
Yes. Yeah, we were scheduled to be on here a little bit sooner, but
Yeah.
my wife has a headache and the baby would not go to sleep, and so she was like screaming for me, crying. So I went over there and rocked her to sleep.
The thing is, people don't know until you have them. You know what I mean? Right? People, they don't know until you have kids. You have no idea. You think you know. Yeah. Just wait till you have them. Then you understand. Okay. Yeah. And you got 4, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
4.
Are you 2 boys, 2 girls as well?
Yes. 2
Yeah.
and 2.
That's like, everybody probably already knows, but I have the same 2 boys, 2 girls. But I'm gonna pop them up on screen. Check this out, fam. Look at this. Look at that beautiful family. I'm guessing this is a little bit older picture, perhaps, or is it any changes physically with your kids? A little bit bigger now.
Yeah, that was that was earlier this summer.
Yeah.
So, about 7, 8 months ago.
Well, they do grow fast. I will say that.
They do,
Oh
absolutely.
shoot, we'll come back to that. I don't want to pop that so soon, but man,
No.
again, I want to say thank you. I know it takes a lot for us fathers to commit to a time frame, and especially when you got kids. And my wife and kids are actually watching TV, and but man, thank you. Um, Now let's get right into it, and we'll talk story about other things. I got notes and stuff, but I like to be free flowing as well. So, father, husband, entrepreneur.
Yes.
Um, One thing I'll tell you this, coach, is that one thing that got my attention with you is that not so much that what I hear in spaces and the discussions, but one thing that really got my attention was that you're a provider, and I think that's something that, and we can bounce back and forth, but being a provider in this generation, I feel like the duties of being a provider have shifted for whatever reason, whether it's cultural, whether it's, sign of the times. But that really moved me when I clicked on your profile and said, this dude is a provider. He doesn't just hustle, but he's a provider.
Yeah.
What drives you to be that provider? Just, while we're out here being transparent, what drives you to be a provider?
So that photo right there, that's my biggest driver, the family. I believe that it's the man's place in the family to be the provider, to be the protector of the family. And I would say I'm blessed to grow up in a home where my father was the main source of income. He was always working. He always made sure we had a roof over our heads and food on our plates and clothes on our back and things of that nature. So, um, that's where that comes from. And also my belief in God and the Bible and everything that I've learned through my spiritual journey. Um, I it's my duty, and it's my honor. I love being the provider. I love having my wife stay at home to educate our kids, and especially in the earlier years of life. And so, yeah, I love being able to do that for my family.
I know it's been a minute, but I just saw the photo of your dad, and I can tell he was a great man, and it's going to be 2 years pretty soon. I saw the date,
Yeah,
and my heart goes out to you because I lost my mom in 2014, and time doesn't heal wounds at all, right?
yeah, yeah. No, I really appreciate that.
And I know you posted some, I don't know where it was, but you were talking about coaching. And I think I told you how much that really means, or how much it meant to me when my dad showed up in my games.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, that's straight up legit. What you're pouring into your children is straight up like gold nuggets that they will always have in their pocket. I'll be honest, there have been times in my life where I didn't know what was in my pocket and I'm shuffling my change. I'm like, okay, that's a little gold nugget. What's that gold nugget? Oh, that's when dad showed up.
Yeah,
That's when dad gave me a high five.
yeah.
Your kids will carry that, bro. I'm telling you, I promise you, because I know I did. You know,
Yeah, me as well. I went through a very interesting time in my life where like I didn't want to speak to my father because I had found out at 16 years old um, that I had a brother in Dominican Republic, which is where I'm from. That's why you resonate with the island mentality.
yes, so
So yeah, I man, it's funny. I was coming home from prom. I was out all night. I came home the next day after my high school prom, and we're going to my graduation party. And I get on the phone with my grandmother and some of my other family members from Dominican Republic, and they're congratulating me. And then my brother gets on the phone and he's like, "Congratulations." I'm like, "Thank you. Who is this?" And then he tells me his name, which is Adalberto. That's my middle name. So I was like, I don't remember having a cousin with this name,
Same
right?
name.
Yeah, and I was like, "That's weird. How come we've never spoken before?" Right? And then he gives the phone to my grandmother, and I asked my grandma, I'm like, "Who was that?" And then she's like, "You need to talk to your father about that." And I look at my dad, and I'm like, "What's up? Like, who's this?" And he was like, "Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute." And he says his goodbyes and hangs up the phone, and I'm like, "So are we gonna talk about this or what?" And he's like, "Well, that is your brother." And I'm like, "I have a brother?" And at that point, it had just been me and my younger sister. She's 5 years younger than me. And I found out that I had a brother who's only 3 years younger than me. And I was like, "That's interesting." Like, so he has a different mom, which means that you stepped out on my mother. And then he kind of like didn't tell me the whole story then and there. Um that that Not that night, but the next day after, I spoke to my mom about it, and she kind of told me basically the gist of like we were living in Dominican Republic. She was like, I was actually born rich and then grew up in poverty in the Bronx. And like after this whole event, I was like really upset at both of my parents because I was like, wow, like, so we were rich. My mom was the director or the director of the math department in the biggest university in Dominican Republic. My father had his own jewelry business. Um, we were well off, house, cars, you know, all of it. We were doing pretty good. And then he made this mistake, or he had this event because I don't, I wouldn't want to say that my brother was a mistake, because he's family and I do love him. And so that happened. My mother was very upset, as you can imagine. And
Yeah.
so she made the decision to up and leave the whole country and come to the US and start all over. And she started working at a supermarket, was living with my aunt for some time. My dad came over. They obviously figured things out, fixed things. And then my sister was born a couple years later. And but so during like from 16 all the way to my early 20s, I was really like, me and him had a really rocky relationship. Um, However, I always remember the times when, he put me on the baseball team and he take me to the park. He would take me to the park every Saturday because growing up, he worked, he was a taxi driver and then he was a truck driver. So during the years where he was a taxi driver, every Saturday without a fail, he'd take me to the park. We'd play basketball. When I was playing baseball, he would take me to the batting cages. And those are things that I remember, even though most of my childhood he was working. So because I remember those things throughout all of the other stuff, it's like I know that I need to be there for my kids as much as possible. And right now they're the older three, they all play soccer. And so I we coach their teams. And except for my oldest daughter, she's now on a traveling team. She's upgraded past my level of of knowledge in terms of soccer. So um, she's got a great coach now, but the boys we still coach them. They're 5 and 6, and it's such a pleasure. It's an honor. Like I love um, spending time with them and being there for them as much as I can.
Did you play soccer when you were younger?
No, you know what's funny? That was the only sport that I did not like. And when I met my wife, she was like, we're getting to know each other. She's like, "Oh, what sports have you played?" Well, I played baseball, I played football. I grew up in the Bronx, so I had to play basketball. I even played hockey for like a month or two because I knew how to ice skate. And so, like, I played a lot of sports.
Wait, hold up.
Soccer was
You
not
can
one of
ice skate?
Yeah, yeah.
What the heck? Dude.
Yeah, I grew up roller skating, and then in New York, we have a few ice skating rinks. So, yeah, I can ice skate,
It,
pretty.
so 6 years of my life, no, 8 years of my life, I lived in the South when I was a kid in
Mhm.
Greenville, South Carolina. All my friends, so kind of similar. My parents were well off. They gave all that up to live. I'm joking, but we were poor our first, few years in the South. My dad was a bank executive, and anyways, we lived in the South. We lived in a neighborhood, a white neighborhood that was poor, like super poor. But right where the train station was, literally across the train tracks, just like a movie, was a black neighborhood. And all my friends that I really felt comfortable with were the black kids. And where I live with the white kids, they were kind of, I don't know how to describe it because that was in the 80s. But all my brothers, man, I'll tell you this much, all the guys that were brown skin like me, they never ice skated. They never went swimming. They never did anything cold. So that's why when you said ice skate, I said, what the heck? This is the first time I seen it. But
That
I totally get it now. But I was thinking about your dad, and I was thinking, I mean, bro, I'm telling you, I've made tons of mistakes with my kids, tons, right? And there's been a good at least 8 or 9 times where I would literally wake them up in the middle of the night, and I'd say, you need to wake up for a second. And I would apologize to him, and I would tell him, hey, I made a mistake, and I'm sorry. And I think as dads in our generation, we need more dads that are willing to like own up to those kind of things and say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna get better. This is my first time being a dad. I don't get a second round. This is my only round. So,
Yeah.
and hey, I want to show these pictures before I forget. So I just wanted to promote. So if you guys don't know, I know you can't see it. Let me put you on the bottom. Here we go. So when you click on his socials, this is one of many, but he's got Turby Academy. I think I said that right.
Yes.
And there's actually a multiple facets to his socials and things that he offers. Everything obviously is centered around family. This is obviously his Instagram. This is where I watch his videos. I think it's Grand Rising. I think it's what it is. That what you say? Grand Rising?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
great.
Um, and we'll talk about this. I want to promote this before I forget because I will forget. I chase squirrels for a living. So this is a book, family, and I'll have him explain, but I just want to show it. It's I Am, which is so funny. It's very biblical. Affirmations coloring book for sons and daughters, and you can buy it on Amazon. So if you want to buy it, bro, just buy it, bro. It's like $7. Like it's not. You can't even buy a Happy Meal for that or McDonald's. You can't, bro. I'm telling you. But hey, talk about this book. I want people to know what this book is about.
Yes. So, um, right now, I'm in the process of writing a book for parents to teach their kids positive affirmations, to help teach their kids important principles and values, because the the values that I've um, adopted in my parenting style and our parenting style has been from my childhood, and it hasn't been from the things that I learned in school or in college or anything like that. And so that's what I'm writing now. And so the I am the coloring book was actually, I was like, I'm not familiar with the publishing process. So I want to publish something so that I can learn how to publish. Right. And I was like, let me start with something easy, something simple. And I was like, why don't I do like a journal or something of that nature? And then I was like, you know what? As I was like sitting at the kitchen table watching videos on like publishing, my kids are sitting there with their coloring books. And I was like, why don't I just make them a coloring book? Right. So I was like, we have these affirmations that we do every single day. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make an affirmation coloring book, right? And so that's kind of where the idea came from. And I thought it would be simple, but it took me a month to make to make the book and all the designs and the things that you can color in the book. It actually took me longer than what I thought it would. But I think it's really a good easy way for kids to learn positive affirmations. And when I was growing up, my mother would actually teach me in Spanish um, to speak good of myself. And she would always speak life into me and say, you're smart and this and you can do anything you set your mind to. And I've translated that to my parenting style now. And so I was like, well, my kids love coloring. I want to make something for them. And I know that other kids love coloring as well. So that was the idea behind the book. There's great affirmations in there, and every page, at the bottom of the page, I put a section where the kids will, it says, my name is blank and I am, and then the positive affirmation in there, just so that they can learn how to speak life into themselves. And that's been a big part of my spiritual journey, my journey as an entrepreneur, is to like speak life into myself, speak positivity into myself, because I grew up in a culture where it was so normal to talk about negativity. Like if anybody's grown up in New York or in the hood, it's like I remember talking to my friends about like how bad our day was. And it was like, oh, like how are you doing? And it's like, oh man, I'm going through this. And then he would say, oh man, you think that's bad? I'm going through this. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going through this, and that too. And it was kind of like a competition of like whose day was worse.
Yeah.
So it's like when you grow up around that, it's like it's so destructive to our self-image,
Yeah.
right? Which is so important. And the more that I've learned about myself and God's purpose for our lives, I think that it's important to know that, like, we were made in the image of the creator.
Yeah.
And that being said, like, we're here to do great things, amazing things. And if we don't speak life into ourselves, then the world is going to distract us from that. So I believe the earlier um, we can teach that to our children, the better off they'll be in terms of confidence, their self-worth, the way that they see themselves, So yeah, that's my goal with the coloring book. It's like you said, it's like $7. I really didn't publish it to make money off of it. I make like $1 and change, it's almost nothing. But yeah, I just want kids to get their hands on this so that they can, learn that habit of um self-love.
Well, you know what's powerful is not only is it only $7, but bro, it's made out of paper, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? How many kids actually touch paper nowadays? Very few.
yeah,
And and like I have, I don't have to throw money around, but like I have quite a bit of money all surrounding me with a bunch of technology, but I still rely on my paper, bro. Like I got cue
Yes.
cards from like 1980. I got my little tablet right here. There's something about
Got
shuffling paper.
notes here where I take my notes, a big paper calendar right here. Actually, so we're in the process of moving. So I'm packing up my bookshelf, but there's like all those journals right there are full. Like those, like I love writing pen to paper. It's a big therapeutic practice that I do. But yeah,
You know
paper.
what the truth is? When you die, that's the code right there. Your kids will look at it. Okay, this is how dad did it, right?
Yes, yes, that's my hope.
Yeah. I don't have one here because I travel quite a bit, so I'm hardly here. But uh, back home in Oahu, like, this library would just be all books of most of them I read, but the journals are the ones that are golden.
Yes.
Every dollar, dad and mom and dad made. This is how we did it. You may have to transcribe it because it's probably hard to read it, but this is how
Yeah, I
this is
agree.
this is how we did it.
Yeah.
Here's a you were talking about affirmations. So, I mean, I don't want to go too deep on this one, but my wife, when we first started having kids, we're not supposed to have kids, by the way. My wife's womb was declared barren by a physician, and God said, "No, I don't think so. I'll give you four."
That's
Um,
amazing. What
but
a blessing.
yeah, so we had to learn that every kid, and they're all made equal, and we all love them no matter what. But there are certain kids that have a different, we say love languages by, I think Gary Chapman wrote a book called Five Love Languages. One of my kids, I can tell him, get in. You did a good job. You're awesome, man. You're a champion. You're like legendary. And he'd be like, okay, thanks. But the minute that you grab him and you hug him, oh, he's so in love with you. Like
Yes.
that is his love tank. That physical touch. That is how he receives his love. My other son, you can hug him all day long, kiss him on the neck and kiss him on the head and just like be all affectionate. He's like, oh, okay, thank you, dad. The minute I say Koa, Makakoa, Gregory Isaac Makakoa, you are a legendary champion of the entire planet. Man, he will serve you to no end. He will die for you. Just that words of affirmation for him that,
I resonate with
you
that.
know, so that's the one thing I'm learning as a father that, and I forget sometimes, because I love my kid the wrong way sometimes, So I guess, oh, you're that one. Okay, hold
Yeah.
on, come here, give me a hug. My youngest son came in our bed last night. I think it was like I forget what time it was. Normally our door is open because I'm a firm believer of making sure that I can get out of my room quickly. Um, but my son knocked on the door. He's like, so I open the door. Oh, my wife says, unlock the door. He's trying to get in. So my son is the youngest son is like 10. I forget. 10. He's old enough to have his own big bed.
Yeah.
But he comes in there and he just wants to lie down. And it's like 3 in the morning, he's like lying down next to us. And then I fall asleep. And then an hour later, I wake up and he's not here anymore. So he basically comes in to get his battery recharged.
That's awesome.
Then he goes back in his room, you know?
That's so awesome. I have so yeah, I would say my kids have different love languages as well. Like my oldest daughter, I speak words of love and pure joy and everything. I could say whatever to that girl. And she's like, yeah, but this, and yeah, but that, yeah, but that. 'Cause, she's at that age where she just has to rebuttal everything. But yeah, the moment I hug her and kiss her, she gets all googly and shit. That's her love language. And my oldest no, my youngest son is is not receptive to the touching as much. My oldest son, him as well. Like he just loves hugs and kisses and like I'm like, man, you're so smart, Gabriel. You did this and you did that, and look at all your awards and da 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 da. Da." And he's like, okay, uh-huh. But then the moment, I like he just loves to just hug us. Like every night, he's like, "Can you tuck me in?" All right. So
How old
I
is he?
appreciate that because he's still at the age where he wants me to tuck him in. And his younger brother, he doesn't ask for that. He's
Yeah.
like, "Good night, Dad. Peace." I'm like, "What do you mean peace? Come and give me a hug." And he's like, "Oh."
You know
So
what's funny? My oldest son, when I think he was 1.5, old enough to walk,
mhm,
and every time he come home, wherever we went, if it was bedtime, he would have his binky with his little blanket. As soon as we unbuckled it from the car, he would run in the house. He would physically climb his crib and get into his crib, and
mhm.
he would literally go in there and he would just go to sleep and start sucking on his thumb. And we'd
Wow.
be like, Koa, get over
Yep.
here. Don't just go to sleep. He didn't even care. Like for him, if he felt like he was loved, he's fine. But he was so self reliant. He would climb in there and go to sleep. Now, if he needed to feel some kind of love, obviously he would get some affirmation. Hey, I love you, Koa. And so we figured out. Okay, we tell him as he's climbing into the crib, "We love you, son. Love you, Koa." And he's fine. He starts sucking his thumb, but he would literally put himself to sleep because he didn't need that. Hey, hug me and sing a song, or he didn't need none of that. Now, sometimes he would say read a story, but yeah, he was that kid. You know, you were talking. Let's talk about. I want to talk about provision, providing.
Yeah.
What do you do if you don't mind sharing? What do you do in terms of providing for your family? I know you have multiple side hustles, but can you walk us through a day or things that you do as a father and a husband, provider? What do you do?
Yeah. So right now, I am driving trucks, so 18 wheelers. Um, and I drive for Amazon right now.
Okay.
So you, it's I believe it's the easiest in the trucking world because it's what you call drop and hook. You go with the truck, you pick up a trailer, you take it somewhere else, you drop it to them, park it, drop it, pick up another trailer, take it somewhere else, and just do that back and forth all through Texas, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Laredo, you know, everywhere that there's a distribution center. Um, so I do that. And then I also have the book. I coach people on productivity, on parenting, um, and yeah, that's what I do right now. The soccer coaching is volunteer work. I feel like that's I get paid,
Yeah,
with the
of
time.
course.
So, um, so yeah, that's what I do right now to provide.
You know what? Here's the thing. I don't know if people may grasp this part, but I know you say you don't do it for the big dollars. But my dad has a book on Amazon, and he doesn't make a lot of money. He don't even know. My dad doesn't even know how much he makes. I'm like, Dad, do you even check? Like, do you even check? He doesn't check. My dad doesn't care because he just wanted to tell his story. You
Yeah,
know, and it's like, okay, so I won't say how much, but here's the cool thing: what you're doing. A lot of people don't understand this. Like for me, even I have a lot of hustles, side hustles. We're fortunate to have business partners, but one of the things that really rewards me the most is just selling products or services that I have, right? So, like for example, on my website, I have T-shirts and coffee cups, whatever, anything that people want to connect and like say, hey, if you guys want to support me, help me pay for my kids' college, go to my website, buy some shirts, man.
yeah,
And you know what's cool is that you wake up tomorrow morning, guess what? You just earned another $2, $3, and you went to bed,
yeah,
bro. We get paid when we go to sleep.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I do love that because
Yeah,
I've sold some courses and ebooks and things like that, and getting that notification, I'm like, oh, that was awesome, and
I
I
was
didn't do anything extra today.
I was on the road early about a few hours ago, and so I got an email. So one of the companies that I'm fortunate and blessed that they believe in me and they're willing to invest in me, like with products, if I do giveaways and stuff. And so I got an email and they said, "Oh, thank you for your." They say thank you for believing in us, but to me, it's the other way around. They believe in me, and so there was they send me notifications of when people buy products and stuff. So I get commissions, whatever, small commissions. I called my wife and I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know we're gonna go out to eat tonight." So she's like, "Okay." So I told her, that's the cool thing, bro. What you do, I get it. So the 9 to 5, right? That's the liquid money, but the generational money is what you're building,
Yes.
right? And I think people. That's one of the things I appreciate what you do. And I did click on your website. I think I had it somewhere. I'll post it when I find it. But I think it's cool that you offer that. And the fact that, bro, we're making money when we go to bed tonight. That's why it's exciting to go to sleep sometimes because you want to see if it's going to be a little ding or you get an email or something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right now is a great opportunity for anyone with something valuable to offer to be able to do that, because the internet connects us with the entire world. There's almost 8 billion people on this planet. 7 billion people have smartphones, which means they don't just have internet connection, they have internet connection in their hands. Like, it's available to them all the time. And so, like, um one of my mentors, he says that um if that there are already millions of people who want what you have to offer, but they don't know who you are, right? So, like, if millions of people knew that Coach Turby has a book for their kids to learn positive affirmations, they'd probably buy the book because it's pretty cheap. It's all about getting my name out there, and I believe everyone has this opportunity now because we're connected with the internet, right? So if you have a unique experience that you learn something from and you feel like someone else would gain a lot of value in their life, you can write a book about it. You can, do what we're doing now, record a podcast,
Yeah.
right? Do something like that, and then other people will be able to benefit off of your experience. And I think there's so much value in that because it's infinite, and what we talked about. It's like you put it on a website, you put it wherever on the internet, and you can go to sleep, and someone across the world can see it, and it's like, wow, I really resonate with this. Let me buy this right now. Boom. And then you not only provided value to someone else, but you made some money as well. So I think that opportunity is amazing, and it's the future.
I'll continue that thought, but I want to acknowledge Tala and Ani in here. What's up? How
Yeah. So
She said goats, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, goats, bro. We're talking about maybe the goat of coach is the goat. I'm just a champion waiting. I think goat comes with age, and I gotta get to a certain chapter. But good to see you guys.
well,
Coach,
I'm just a billy goat then. I'm just what do you call a baby goat?
what did they call that? A kid?
I
I
don't,
don't
I
know.
don't think so. I'm just a kid, man. I don't even have grays yet. The wisdom of the grays. So
I
yeah,
tell you what, I earned a lot of these grades just by having kids. You know what I'm
I
saying?
believe, I believe it.
Yeah, yeah. I will. Hey, we're talking about providing money and all that stuff. It's not about me, but I want to share this story. For anybody that wants to make money, obviously, our audience tonight is not just X or Twitter, but since we have a Twitter audience, I want to just share this. There are companies willing to invest in you or take a chance on you or maybe even use you. Me and Tala were talking about this. I think it was Tala. People that want to make you an affiliate, whatever. But I want to encourage anybody, if you want to take a chance of making some side hustle money, fine. There are companies willing to pay you just to promote their products. I'm actually gonna drop one of my companies right now and promote another one, which is a competitor, and I won't say who. But here's the thing: if a company doesn't treat you right, or you feel that maybe it's not a good company, just find another one. There's like hundreds and thousands of them that are willing just to say, "Hey, we'll send you products, we'll give you commissions, whatever. If you do well, if you perform well, you'll get a higher commission rate, or we'll even compensate you." There are companies willing to pay you $500, $600 just to promote their products for a week or 2 weeks, and that's extra money.
Yeah.
I won't say who because I want to hoard it all for myself, but honestly, they're out there. But it's exciting. So, can we talk about the coaching because that's something that I'm not familiar with on the back end side of it. I
Okay.
do it by default, for like being a pastor and also when we started the drug and alcohol rehab, that's all coaching, right? Parenting, that's coaching. But the coaching you're talking about is a little bit different, right? It's more, can you explain a little bit on your coaching side,
Yes.
clients and whatnot?
Yes. So I'll share how it started, and then you'll kind of see the evolution of that. So actually, when my father passed away, um, it'll be 2 years now. Um, the thing that was most impactful for me was that he had so many people show up to his funeral, and people that I didn't know. And on top of that, me and him have a similar voice. So I had his cell phone, and he passed away 4 days before his birthday. And so during that weekend, there was so many people calling his phone to wish him a happy birthday. And then I picked up the phone, and my sister, like me and my sister, were sharing that responsibility of letting people know who called him, and it was so heartbreaking for me because to deliver that news, and I wasn't like, I was still like shocked even telling people that. And so like I cried with so many strangers, so many strangers, people from all over the country, people from Kansas, from California, people that like he had just met while trucking over the road. And all these people were like, "Man, your father was such a giving person, and he taught me this, and he taught me that, and he taught me this, and he taught me that." I was like, "Man, like that's so powerful." And yet he never figured out a way to monetize that, right? So one of the things that I took from all that, I said, if I'm going to be a positive influence in people's lives, I'm going to give people the opportunity to learn from me one on one, and give myself the opportunity to make money from that. So around that time, I had started a book club within this entrepreneur community. And there were so many people who were like, "Man, I love the way you teach. I love the way you give advice, and you have, you know, a lot of knowledge in this area of life. And so, like, can you teach us?" Right? And so, I just put the offer out there. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be coaching people one on one. I'm going to be teaching you how to uh, develop better habits, how to become more productive, how to manage your time and your life better, your habits and things of that nature." And I had 40 people agree to like just sign up for. So the first month I did it for free, and the following month I made $1,000. And for a couple months I started making $1,000 a month, and it just kept growing and growing. And I was like, wow, like this is powerful, because there are people, like, just like there are people who are willing to go and buy a book, there are people who need more of an intimate teaching environment, right? And so what I can write in a book, if someone reads a book and then has questions of like, okay, how can I implement this in my life? Imagine if you were talking about the five love languages,
Yep.
right? Gary Chapman. Imagine if he had a coaching program. I don't know if he does or not, but if he had a coaching program that you could afford, that would teach you directly how to learn the five love languages and how you can implement those lessons in that book immediately. That would be worth it, right? If you can afford it, you're like, yes, I need that in my life. I want to communicate with not just my wife better, but my children and just everyone around. I think like that's good information to build relationships with anyone, right? And so that concept of just a closer teaching environment is really powerful, not just for other people, but for myself. I have invested a lot of money into coaching and into courses, which I found out is the same information that's in the book that these people publish. But when you read a book, you're on your own.
Yep.
You buy a course, you're on your own. If you pay for coaching, you now have live conversations. You can ask questions about your specific situation, tailored to whatever that topic is. And if it's a recurring thing, like I do once a week, then every week you have something that you need to be working on, and hey, my coach is going to keep me accountable to everything that I said I was going to do. Because I believe a lot of people know at some level the things that they need to be doing, but they're not doing them, right? So when you pay for coaching, and this is my experience, right? When I've paid for coaching, the fact that I paid, now I know, hey, this is valuable. In the Bible it says, where your treasure is, your heart will be also,
Yep.
right? And so when we invest into coaching, we're not investing into the other person. We're investing into ourselves, right? It's an investment for ourselves because we know now, hey, I have to stay accountable to these things that I know that I'm working on. And there's this person that's already been through it. And this person is going to help me understand it. This person is going to help me make the right decisions. If I have a question, I can message them, or I can ask my question in the next week or in the next call, right? And so there's so much more clarity that comes from being coached. And when you're coaching someone, you get to keep them accountable. You get, my favorite thing is seeing the light bulb go off in people's head. It's
Yeah.
like and most of my coaching is really asking the right questions, right? And when I ask a certain question, someone goes, "Wow, I never thought about it that way," right? And it's like I love that feeling because I know that their life has changed from that moment, right? Because not only did they have the conversation that gave them the epiphany, but because they invested into themselves, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember that. And so they're going to change. And it's that change it goes faster than just reading a book or listening or watching a course. So there's it's such an impactful situation. Like I absolutely love it.
It's funny, and I'm not serious when I say this, but I kind of am. When you get success on that level, I'd be like, brother, the light bulb just turned on, so congratulations. But remember, next week, sign up for level 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know we joke about it, but that's the truth. Like, but if you got a system and people are doing well, hello, chapter 2 is next month. Don't forget.
Yes.
Update your credit card information. We're gonna take your
Yes.
payments. But Here's what I really admire about that coach is that you're a man of integrity, but you're a provider, protector, and when you provide for your family, what we just talked about is generational, right?
Yes.
It's money that comes in when you're sleeping. So I'm guessing you're proficient in time zones because you have students that are in different areas, or are they all central to where you live?
Yeah, no, I've had students in all different time zones, different countries, Australia, India, the UK, here in the US. I actually had a student from Hawaii. So
What the heck? Give me their name because they don't mean that. They gotta take it from a Hawaiian.
yeah, his name is Jeremy.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
I won't share anything anything past that, but
If he's got my family name, bro, I'm like, what the heck, bro?
yeah,
But
we'll talk about it offline.
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But
So that's good, man. Multiple times. I did a podcast at 11 last night, and I'm not being ungrateful. I'm very because here's the truth. If I can get somebody that's in another country, I'll say, you know what, whatever time works for you, you tell me right now, and we'll do it. And so she was in Poland, so
wow,
you know, I appreciate that. I'm learning my time zones. I know that Japan is in the future, obviously, but they're like from me, I think 11 hours in the future. So they're the next day, but like 8 or 9 hours ahead, something like that. And
yes.
well, here's what I'll ask. I think I have a whole list of questions, but I didn't ask any of them because you answered them for me. But did we talk about the Turby, everything that it entails? Is that pretty much everything that we?
So on the website, there's a link for you to book a call with me and um, for coaching. I don't have any of the courses just advertised on the website because I think that everyone is different and every that level that they're at. So I like to have conversations with people so that way I can get a feel for what they need, what they feel they need. I like to do things the most ethical ways possible. So I don't like to like shove sales in people's face. When they go on the website, they can subscribe to the newsletter. I have a weekly newsletter that goes out. There's also a link for the wait list for the new book that's coming out as well.
That's
So
smart. That's
yes,
genius.
and so for those who join the wait list, they're going to be first to get the course for free. So the people that join the wait list, the course that's coming with the book, they're going to get that course for free.
Somebody had asked me why am I on so many different platforms, and I tell them I'm not on every platform. Uh, my footprint is.
Mhm.
I'm a size 9, but my shoes are size 47. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, I love that.
you know what I mean? And so the truth is, I have a lot of family and friends that don't care for Twitter. They can't stand X or Twitter. They're like,
I agree.
it's just a bunch of drama. And well, maybe for you. So my whole philosophy is I'm gonna give you what I have to you, and when you're ready, at least it's there.
Yes.
And even like like even both you and I are both on Instagram, and
Yeah.
Instagram is more glossy, more production value. I do a lot of my photography and drone work on there, and then my TikToks are short, obviously short videos, and long form is where I'm enjoying this right now. And who knows, the next chapter may be different. But the fact that you have an email capture, that's just genius, right? Because if Twitter for some strange reason blows up, Grok destroys the whole headquarters, and Elon gets in a rocket, he goes to Mars and says, "Screw you guys." Coach has his email list. Say, "Hey guys, I'm back on Instagram. Come join me over there," or whatever, right? So I think the value of having a bigger footprint, and I think I appreciate that what you do. We didn't talk about spaces yet. What is your opinion on spaces? Let's say in the next 12 months. What do you? This is a big rabbit hole potentially, but what is your opinion on spaces?
So, man, I love X Spaces. For those of you listening or watching, um, Twitter is now X, and the ability to join and host spaces, I believe, is one of the most powerful ways to meet people that are like-minded. And I believe you and I met on a space,
Hmm.
right? So it's kind of like when you do a live on, on Facebook or on Instagram. However, people can request to come and join, and you can speak to them and have natural conversation. Earlier today, uh, I co-hosted a space about relationships with money, and I had the opportunity to teach people these 8 points of or 8 lessons about money that I've learned over the years. And we had such an amazing, genuine conversation that I didn't really get to elaborate on all 8 points, right? And it was only eight, and this was like 2 hours. So it's like the connections that I've been able to build with people because of spaces has it's I don't think there's any platform right now that is offering that. You know, everyone has the ability to just open up a space, right? It's basically like a room, and there's no video right now. You just see people's profile pictures, and you just start talking, and people can come up and join the conversation. And I think it's so powerful because you get to hear people and converse back and forth as opposed to just watching someone's video and then leaving a comment and
Hmm.
then wait for them to see the comment to comment back, or you hop in someone's direct message and people have their feelings about that. Some people answer them, some people don't. And so I absolutely love that ability to just have genuine live conversations with people all over the planet.
I think people are comfortable not showing their face. And I think that's why there's a big draw to that, right? People like to talk and be heard. I'll share a story. So the reason why I brought the question up is because so in 2016, you may have heard this story, so I apologize if you're hearing it again, but for the audience, I was introduced to a live streaming app which Twitter had purchased for $120 million. They went on the Tonight Show, they promoted it, it went crazy viral. Kayvon Bakor is the founder of this app called Periscope, which Twitter bought.
Yeah.
So before they launched the product, Twitter already paid for it. They brought on his engineering team. They had, I think, 40 or I think 60 employees that came over and they work for Twitter. So this live streaming app is laid within the corporate structure of Twitter. So every time you go live on the app, it's basically live on Twitter. There was a little bit of hiccups and bugs between the two because there were still two apps, separate apps, but they eventually integrated the two. So there are, I think, 10 million people that downloaded the app within the first year when
Wow.
Twitter purchased it. The audio that we use on Spaces is from that app. So
Mm,
the underlying code. So if anybody goes into your desktop and you go live, you do a live video from your desktop on your Twitter,
yeah.
it'll show the pstp.tv. That's the actual code. And they never got rid of it, but they did get rid of the app, I think, in 2021. Everybody thought that Kayvon Bakor was nuts. Like, why in the world did they get rid of the live video application? But what people didn't realize is that the live video never ended. It was always still within Twitter. Just people didn't know or didn't care, or they weren't comfortable.
Right.
So the guy who founded Periscope, who created the live video platform. So if you guys, most people don't know, between Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, Twitter was the first company of those three major socials to offer live streaming.
Mhm.
Facebook was second, and then YouTube. Actually, YouTube was second, and then Facebook came in right after with Facebook and Instagram Live.
Yeah.
So Twitter has always historically been the first or the leader in a lot of those areas. So when they did Spaces, the guy who created the app was the one that they repositioned him to lead up the Spaces team, and their target was obviously Clubhouse, right?
Mhm.
Eventually to target podcasting with Spotify, those things. I ain't gonna lie, Coach. We all was like, "What in the heck is wrong with you guys? Why are you getting rid of the robust live streaming?" And this is what I know. I went live. Oh, not me. There was a video that went. The guy was live at a press conference. It was what was it? It was I think it was for Trump, obviously, but it was like a press conference for I want to say Republican convention, whatever it was.
Okay.
CNN and Fox News both went out. They put a little thing and said, "Please stand by, experiencing technical difficulties." Both networks. So I go on my phone on Twitter Live. There's a guy in the audience with his phone showing the press conference. Millions of people are watching on their phones the press conference with this guy's phone. All the major networks cut out.
Mm.
It's how convenient that was, right? And here's this guy with his cell phone in the audience showing what's happening in the press conference. All the major networks didn't show. I think it was like a minute or 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, it all magic came back on again.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that moment. And I talked about it a lot. And so when they went to audio to Spaces, everybody was like, "What in the heck is? What are they doing? Why are they getting rid of it?" And now that we're in 2024, I see the draw where there are literally I forget who posted the stat. Obviously, it was Linda. Then it was Elon posted how many hours people get on every day on
Mm.
Spaces. It's because they can sit in their kitchen, cook dinner. They can be driving in a car. They can be driving a truck on the
Yeah.
road,
Yeah.
listen to Spaces, or they can sit in a room for 5 to 6 hours and just engage in conversation and never show their face. I have a funny feeling about this. I have a feeling some of the best coaches and gurus on Spaces are either janitors, but they're doing amazing on Spaces. They're a bunch of janitors wearing underwear. That's what I think. They're sitting there with no clothes on. When you hear them on Spaces, wow, this guy is amazing.
That's funny.
But that's what I feel like. And so with Spaces, I see the draw, right? People are okay engaging in conversation, and there's so many. The menu is huge, right? On Spaces, it's such a huge menu
Yeah.
because people thought it was all about crypto for a while. They said, "Oh, I don't do crypto. I don't need to listen." But it's so much more than that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I was actually so I co-hosted a space today while I was at my daughter's soccer practice, and then drove home, came home to my office, and nobody knew, right? And so like that ability, and then in between, my daughter is talking to me, I'm talking back to her, and like while other people are speaking on the space. So that ability to be on the space, to host, co-host, to be a speaker, or just listening, there's a lot of power in that, because like you said, you could be doing whatever. You can be doing anything. You can be wearing anything and nobody will know, right? All they see is that profile picture.
And
And
this guy's voice is amazing. He sounds like a guru from heaven. And
yeah.
but they don't know he's wearing like just underwear and no t-shirt, probably eating a pizza. Hey, but he's making the big dollars when he goes to bed tonight. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm glad we uncovered that you're not wearing underwear and eating pizza. So
Yeah. Yep. Not doing that right now.
on a lighter side, what do you do for fun?
I read, man. So I mean, like I said, we're in the process of moving. The Unfortunately, we got the news the other day that our house has like a huge plumbing issue, and so they got to rip up all the floors, and it's this whole untimely ordeal. And so like most of my bookshelf is in these boxes here. But there's books all around me right now. I love to read. I like working out. I like listening to podcasts. I love learning, and just playing with my kids. That's what I do on my free time. I play with my kids. I talk to them. I try to teach them as much as possible. I try to learn as much as possible. Journal and just teach. That's what I love doing. Which is even just me saying this out loud. It's like, man, 17-year-old version of me would be like, what? Who is this guy? Right? Because the way I grew up, man, it was so opposite. Like I grew up in a culture of like smoking weed, drinking, going out, partying, playing sports. That's that was me from 14, 15 years old all the way up to like 25. And so now it's like I've come a long way, but I genuinely love learning. I like listening to sermons on my free time and things of that nature. So yeah, that's what I love doing.
Who's your favorite podcaster?
I would say Huberman is definitely up there, and Huberman. I like Joe Rogan because he's real. He talks about a lot of things, but I would say my top two are Patrick Bet David and um, and Huberman because I love like the way that Patrick Bet David talks about business, and he's a man of faith as well. So yeah, there's also this. His name is Omar. I can't pronounce his last name, but
Mhm.
his name's Omar. He's on YouTube for like he does like a lot of tech reviews and teaches YouTube, but now he started his own podcast, and he interviews other people of this of the Christian faith, and just his thing is the department. And so I love listening to people like that, people who share the same values and that are in business.
You know who I like? He's not a podcaster, but he's a great podcast. He's a great podcast guest, and it's Elon.
Yeah,
I love when he gets on a podcast,
me
and
too.
a lot of people think he pulls the trigger like what do you call it? He shoots from the hip. I don't believe that for a minute. I don't believe Elon fired. I think you can't. I mean, there's no way you can fire from the hip at someone at that level. I'm not saying everything is calculated, but I'm sure he's got a series of calculated responses if he needs to pull him out of his bag. Because when he's with Joe Rogan, he'll sit there for 3 hours, talk about nothing. Well, not nothing, but everything.
Yeah, I I would disagree. I think what it is that like if you acquired 10, 20, a lot of years of experience on a certain topic, and like Elon is very educated, self-educated.
Very much so. Yeah.
So if you've acquired that much knowledge about a certain topic, you can talk about it for hours. I mean, we could talk about parenting
For
for 10, 20 hours and we would still have much more to talk about.
yeah.
So I think with that level of experience, when somebody asks you a question, it's kind of hard not to continue to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about the same thing. Like some of the things that you've asked me today, I'm like, I'm so passionate about, and I'm trying to just like contain myself so that you can, ask as many different questions as you have. And so like I think that's where that comes from. So I'm sure there are certain things where he's thought about before,
Yeah.
and he's thought about like, okay, if somebody asks me this, I can respond this way or I can respond that way. but I think it just comes from experience, and like you ask someone a question that they, an area that they know about, and they can go on and on and on.
It's pretty clear too when he's on a different show with a different host. He
Hmm.
has a different comfort level. He knows that Joe Rogan has no agendas. Joe Rogan has no set list of like, hey, we're gonna cover this. It's because there was the last podcast it did where they were they were going and going and going, and then Elon's like, "Hey, I think I should go. My plane's leaving. My plane's leaving in like an hour," and they didn't even realize it, you know. And but then the other one before that, they were just sitting there. I think they smoked weed. The first one, the second one, they kind of hung out. They ordered pizza with anchovies. I think that's the first time he ate anchovies. But then you catch Elon in a different podcast with like a very established media host that you can see that where he gets very focused. Not that
Yes,
he's not focused, right, with Elon. I mean, with Joe Rogan, but so he's one of my favorite podcast guests. Uh, I think Joe Rogan. I do like Joe Rogan. I don't like his content, or no, I like his content. I don't care for the lack of language filters, but I think that's the draw too. I think that's why he does so well. But I
yeah,
do love, bro, the fact that he got a $200 million contract with Spotify. That's amazing.
that is.
And whoever connects with him, guess what they get? They get a piece of that. Because if you listen to Roseanne or Theo Vaughn, they're all on Spotify as well. I think it's a package deal in terms of sponsorships because they all promote the same brands.
Yes,
Because I know Roseanne doesn't use Manscaped. There's no way. I don't think Rose, but she promotes Manscaped. So, there's a big corporate deal, right, for these guys who go on Spotify. So, I'm gonna we're gonna get close to landing the plane, but I want to just promote this real quick for anybody that came in a little bit late. If you don't know Coach, you can catch him on Instagram. This is his Instagram. His username is the same on all socials, Coach underscore Turby. You
yes,
get more organic material in relation to family. I found on his Instagram. I'm sure he does it on X too.
yeah.
Um, then this is his book that he has on Amazon. And by the way, let me just say real quick, I am affirmations coloring book for sons and daughters. Buy it on Amazon for $7.97. But let me just say this: since you said you drive for Amazon, I want to just personally thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do. You are the MVP. It's not about products. I know people are like, "Oh, how can you talk about ordering stuff?" They're like, because I didn't see, I wasn't bragging about getting packages every day. But see,
Mhm.
you gotta understand in Hawaii, when they say second day air, there is no second day air in Hawaii. Second day air is 5 days. So
Yeah,
when we got to Oregon, it's like, wait, we can get a package by tomorrow? What is this sorcery? Bro, my wife was ordering up the yin yang because so every
that's
day, bro, from October to almost Christmas, we're getting a package. And we're not wealthy. This is not a flex. This is because we don't go shopping to normal stores. A lot of times should go online. Okay, and we need this. Bro, we get rice shipped to our house, and Amazon guy's like, he'll knock on the door. Here you go, Mr. Lopez. Like he knows us already. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like, but bro, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you do. You have no idea how important you guys are, bro. I'm telling you.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
But the FedEx guy knows us. The UPS guy knows us. We don't. I think we have Amazon trucks here. No, not here. But man, and what you do, you're a provider, somebody that provides for your family. And that's one of the series trying to I'm trying to get it done by March, but just have guys that actually work because I felt like there is. I can't use this word 'cause it's not a pandemic, but there's a lot of men that don't work for whatever
Yeah,
reason. I understand there's disabilities, there's maybe some areas don't have jobs available, but I won't buy that for a minute because I think if you're pushed to the limit, you'll find something to generate income.
everywhere they're hiring. Everywhere.
Yeah.
There's. I mean, I would agree with you not to use the word pandemic, but man, I have experienced. So before I was driving trucks, I worked for this very small construction company here in Texas, and I was the foreman. And so we were on a lot of job sites. We did water restoration, fire restoration. So um, the teams that I managed, um, we had to deal with a lot of people, and a lot of the people were small business owners. And a common theme is that, man, I can't get good workers. It's like people would ask me all the time, like, man, you guys have a great team. Where'd you find these guys? Because I can't get guys to do XYZ, or I can't find people to do XYZ. It seems like nobody wants to work anymore. That has been a common conversation for the past 2 to 3 years. And I'm just like taken aback because they're hiring everywhere. I was actually looking at because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about plumbing. The average age of a plumber is like 53 years old, which means that there are no young plumbers.
They're
So
on the
now
way out.
plumbing is an industry that's like they're getting paid more and more and more and more because there's less and less of them. And same thing with electricians, carpenters, just a plethora of careers and industries that like there's nobody to work them. And in as we move towards an age where more people are on phones and it's all about technology, like I understand that there are a lot of options online for people to make money. However, there's still a lot of work out there,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like if I can take advantage of, both sides, like I'm gonna do it while I can,
Yeah.
right? But I do believe that like the more options open up online, the less people desire to work because if they can, you know, make a couple $1,000s from a computer at home, it's like, what's the point of going out to a job and doing, making the same amount of money?
I talked about this with Jim, my previous guest before yesterday. He's a truck driver.
Hmm.
He drives for Walmart, and he talks about there's so many jobs of right now available, even within Walmart. You don't have to be out in the front, and be a cashier. You can be somebody who works in the back,
Yeah.
and people don't want to work. And I have a friend who manages a dealership in Portland.
Hmm.
He's like, "Hey, Greg, you know anybody that wants to work?" I said, "Not over there," but he says, "I can't get anybody to work." Like they're offering, I think, like $1,000 signing bonus and like $22 an hour, which is roughly about what, 4 grand a month with your signing bonus, a little bit more, something like that. Nobody wants to work. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I get it. Like I know during the pandemic in Hawaii, they offered, what was it, $600 a week plus 300, so that's 900, 1800. So to stay home during the pandemic in Hawaii, you would collect $3,600, almost $3,700 a month to not go to work.
Wow.
And those people were doing side hustles. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do your side hustles for cash, you take your unemployment plus the federal. Why would they go to work for a company that can't even afford to pay them what they're already making? And that really hurt Hawaii a lot. That really hurt Hawaii in the job sector. And I will say another thing that I think that hurts employers is the gig economy. So, and I'll share that. I don't share it a lot on the socials, but when I go to Portland, because I go to Portland every at least twice a month, I go to be with my brother. So my brother's been in a hospital for 2 years now, so I go to spend time with him, and I'll stay. And that's why I say when I'm traveling, if I'm not in Portland, I'm in Hawaii. So this year it's a lot slower just because of family. So I wasn't home, coach, for 6 months last year. I wasn't with my family. It was so tough, but
Wow.
it's what I had to do. It's just something that because of the way the conditions of why. So we're in Oregon temporarily to help take care of family. So when I was in Portland, I would do like gig work. I ain't ashamed. Bro, we have investments. We have a car in Atlanta that we have on Turo. We rent it out on Turo. But with all the things that we do, bro, I still need money. So I would do Uber, Lyft. I did what do you call that? The UPS company, Roadie. So Roadies, if anybody wants to make money, I'm telling you right now, if you need money today, open your phone, download the Roadie app. If you got a car with gas, you can make 100, 200, $300 right now in the next 8 hours. Download the app. It's called Roadie, and
Wow,
all you do is deliver packages.
that's pretty cool.
So if anybody needs money, you're in a tough spot, dude. Just download the app. You don't have to deliver food to somebody's doorstep. You don't have to worry about dogs. Well, maybe dogs, but you can do it. There's ways for people to make money to go out there and work. And I get it. Jim Rohn, one of my favorite business philosophers, he's also a believer. He passed me a long time ago. He said that
I love you.
wages will earn you a living, right?
Yes.
But profits will earn you a fortune.
Yep.
So let's do our wages. Let's earn a living, provide for our families, or just provide money in our bank accounts, take care of bills, and let's do our hustles, our side hustles until they become our full time hustle.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm doing now, man.
Now, do you have a team of people that are on the same page as you, that, or are you a one man band? What do you have right now in your corner?
So right now, I am a one-man band. I've been trying to recruit my wife to the band, but she's busy with the kiddos. Um, and so it's just me, the AI apps that I use, and my focus on for this year is to really bring back, because I started a podcast as well, and so the reason why I stopped was the editing. It's like I have at least 5 recorded episodes that, I just need to edit and then they're ready to go. So for me, it's like that part I don't enjoy. I'm not very good. I don't really know. So I kind of just stopped. But I made a commitment this year to learn. And if I don't learn, I'm going to have to hire somebody, either or. But the podcast has to continue because, like this conversation, you have an audience of people who I'm sure love what you talk about and they find value in the things that you talk about and the guests that you bring on. And so that's my way of like spreading the information that I have, and to bring on guests that have information that I think is valuable. So that's something that I'm working on right now.
I will tell you for a fact, I know there's people in the Philippines and India that will do your editing for you very cheap. Now they're not 100% reliable, but we use Fiverr a few times, and God bless them. We pay them whatever. My wife does all the. Um, I think we pay like $100, and they'll do your editing for you, and you can try them out. If they do good, you continue. But sometimes they'll disappear. They'll take your money and run. So they'll do a terrible job, and you're like, "What the heck? I don't like it." And you can't find you can't find them anymore. But
That's interesting.
yeah, my wife is she's my back end. She's my like she's working on her master's degree in business administration, and so that takes a lot of time away. So I'm a one man band here when I do my socials,
Mhm.
but we've been blessed to find people. And for anybody that's watching and you're getting inspired by Coach's story, I will tell you this: if you can find a group of people that believe in you and are willing to coach you and walk alongside with you, man, have their number on speed dial. We
Yes.
have so we have a group of 10 people. One of our mentors, she's in Atlanta. So when I say we have a Turo, we have it's a BMW X5, I think. So this is our first one we've done with her. So she's a partner we have, and so she rents it out. We get a percentage. So the goal is to rent it out maybe 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. We get a cut of whatever. So we invested in that. Airbnbs, that's another thing that so this team, we have 10 people, and we have this young couple from Washington. They're like in their 20s, late 20s, maybe 30s, but they're pretty young. So we got that couple. We have another. So we have this Mexican guy. We call him Manny. He's in Arizona. He owns two furniture stores, and he has Airbnbs, and he has several other brick and mortar businesses.
Mhm.
So we all met up in Vegas a couple months ago, and we went to a product expo to go buy products. Our whole goal was to go there to shop to see what the newest products were. Bruh, I've never been to Vegas before. That was my first time. Dude, you needed like a bus pass to get from one end to the other end of the convention center, and there's like millions of products
That's awesome.
from every country known to man, China, Korea, everywhere. And we were just like, so my wife bought jewelry. Our one of our partners, she bought a whole bunch of jewelry. She actually she closed the deal on these Crocs. She bought like thousands of them. And so when you buy these products, right next to this expo or in the expo, there are these logistics companies, like
Mm,
full on trucking, warehousing, what everything you need, flat rate. It was crazy. And it's like, so
that's
yeah, dude, it was amazing. So I've never been to a product expo before, but we were like, dude, let's find something we can buy and sell on Amazon, whatever. So as soon as we close a deal, like if you close a deal on a product here, like right next to you, there's a lady, there's a rep. She's like, oh, do you guys need someone to transport these products? And so
of course.
seven, yeah, 7 grand, 10,000, they'll do everything for you. The trucking, and it was amazing. And I'm like, this is why when we look at the business sector, the majority of people that we saw there, there's many companies, but it's the people that made the investment to go out to these expos, these shows. Like for us, we were fortunate we had a good team because we never been before, and so our mentor, she said, "Don't worry, we'll walk you through this." Because if you're not careful, you're gonna be giving everybody a credit card. Yeah, you'd be like, "Dude, I need 6,000 Crocs and ship it tomorrow." Like, no, so we had to be very careful. Uh, but you know, I would say it's a good experience. But the more of this story is the team that we're a part of now is so amazing that we can invest together with them, whether it's $1,000 or whatever everybody has. So there's one deal we had where there was a minimum, like a buy-in, if you will, and
Mhm.
we'll find a property and we all take a cut, whatever it may
Right.
be. Now, not everybody may have the finances to do so, but the powerful thing about this, when I asked earlier, do you have a team? If one of us is struggling, then the team picks up the slack. And I will say, for anybody that wants to get ahead, find people that are willing to invest in you. And like I said earlier, put their number on speed dial
Yes.
and make sure they pick up when you call them. Make
Yes.
sure, make sure they take your call. But
Yeah.
we've got to do more of these, Coach. And we can do structured. We can do specific topics. We can even do a spaces. I don't do a lot of spaces just because my energy is on video, but I do jump in on spaces as a guest. But I would love for us to find something that's dear to your heart. There's so many topics, right? We can talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot, man.
Yeah.
I resonate with you on several different topics. You know, we could talk about business, we could talk about faith, we could talk about parenting, um, health. There's a lot of things that I think we have similar beliefs and values on. So this was fun.
We didn't talk about peppers though.
Peppers,
Yeah. Are you a guy that eats a lot of hot peppers since you're no?
peppers and onions are the two foods that I cannot eat. The texture, like I can't like if my wife cooks them really soft and like mixes it in with the rice or with the meat or whatever she's cooking, then I can do peppers. But other than that, like I'm not. I'm the guy at the restaurant picking the onions and the peppers out
Ah,
of the food.
you're like my dad. Yeah, my dad would take everything. It's like, Dad, bro, we paid like $15 for that burger. What the heck? Like, what the heck?
I don't want this. I don't want that.
I'm gonna go back to a question I meant to ask earlier. I remember now. What is your workout routine?
So very simple workout routine. I do 15 minutes every single day of something um to failure. So if I'm and I like doing body weight. So pull-ups, push-ups, squats, burpees, sit-ups, things like that. I have a workout machine here that I use as well. But the idea is to target one muscle and to do as many exercises targeting that muscle group until I cannot lift that muscle anymore. So I like to do like extreme, you know, from so I do like from light weights, I'll do repetitive sets without rest. So let's say, I'm doing chest, I'll you know, put it on the machine and do a set of 10 and then put the weight up, do 10 more, and then put the weight up and then do 10 more back to back to back until I cannot do 10. And then once I can't do 10, I'll start putting the weight down and then do 10 and then all the way back up to the point where I started. And then I'll get on the floor and do push ups and then just target that muscle group until it's depleted. And then for cardio, we have a stationary bike, and I do one very long run per week. So right now it's winter. I thank you, Tala. She said I did great in that push-up challenge the other day. We did a push-up challenge, 30 minutes. How many push-ups you can do? I did 281
I
in a
think I saw that one. I think that's the one that wasn't valid, right? Because you didn't do the dunk on a basketball goal. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yep, yeah, that one. I didn't dunk. I've never dunked before. I haven't grown that high yet. Um, but yeah, I like to do one very long run a week when the weather's right because I don't like running in the cold. And that's mostly for my mind though. So I was doing at least 10 miles. So 10 to 15-mile runs on Sunday morning before church just to prepare my mind for the world. Because I hate running. Honestly, like
I hate
there's not a
running
lot of
too.
things that I hate, but I hate running. And that's the reason why I run long distances because the process of like, I want to quit, but I'm not going to quit because I already decided to run. And then, so I pick a point that's like 5 to 10 miles out of my house. And then, so like, while I'm running there, I'm like, I have to get there. I have to get there. I can't quit. And then now that I'm there, the only way back home is to
To
run
go
back home. So it's like that that mental process of like, man, I'm so tired, but I decided to do this, so I'm not gonna quit. I think like I've found so much value in that. There's so much growth in that. You learn persistence, resilience, mental strength. You can learn the limits of your body. And those things I like. But the running,
running sucks.
it
So that
sucks. I
that
don't
pro
understand how people love it. There's some crazy
they're,
people out
they're
there.
liars. They're liars. But the my profile picture was when I was at my and I'm gonna do a rebranding soon because my wife is saying it's time, honey. Like you're not that guy anymore. I'm like, I know I'm not that guy, but that's why I have the picture. But that picture, I think I was what was it? I was like 205, 12% body, no 12. Yeah, it was a pretty low percent body fat, and I was really into this. I had this dream that I was going to be on stage and be a bodybuilder, and just being very honest with you, that's not natural. I did steroids, and it's so ironic because I'm afraid of needles, and I would
Mm.
sit in my bathroom for hours, coach, trying to shove this needle up my rear end, and I keep psyching myself out. I'm like, oh, you can do this. Come on, Gray, you can do this. And I'm like, I finally get to stick it, and I pull out. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. and my kids are knocking on the door like, "Dad, are you almost done? What are you doing, Dad? Don't worry about it. I'm almost done." And it's like I got to a point. I'm like, "What am I doing? Like, is it even worth it?" And but
That's it.
I say all that. I'm like, I'm not running. Screw this. I'm gonna go on a stairmaster and I'm gonna make it hard. So
Yeah.
I never ran. I hated running. It's like it was bad for my knees and but now that I'm 48, there's no excuse because if the poo poo hits the fan and I gotta take my family and run somewhere, I am not gonna be that guy that's gonna be on the ground when the zombies come and eat me up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna you know
Yeah. So something I found, I bought a small trampoline, and so like I think they call it rebounding.
yeah.
But that exercise works out every muscle of your body. Just jump on the trampoline.
And you do that?
Yeah. So I'll do like that. That would be my warm up. So I do like 1 to 3 minutes. When the weather's good outside, I'll do that like first thing in the morning on the big trampoline out in the backyard.
Do you
Um,
have a big trampoline too?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we have one too. My kids, probably in the middle of the snow, they'll get in and they'll jump in it. So,
yeah.
yeah.
They love it. They go outside in even in the winter and jump on that thing. I'm like, I don't like the cold, which is why I moved to Texas from New York. Um, but yeah, the I looked up like all of the health benefits to rebounding and doing like trampoline workouts, and it's amazing.
No,
Like,
I've seen those videos. But it's like what I said about the other video you did. And like it's not the trampoline to me is not valid, coach, unless you wear some tight spandex. Yeah, and you do a video and you do but those workouts those ladies do with those rebound.
yeah, you will
That's
not see me in the spandex.
no, no. Yeah.
No, it'll scare some people away.
Well, let's do our before we do rapid fire, anything you want to share before we do rapid fire?
Uh,
Anything you want to promote, talk about before we do rapid fire?
no, I would just encourage people to get the book, the I Am Affirmations coloring book for their children. And man, I've had adults buy this book and tell me
I
like,
saw
"Yeah,
that. There's a lady that bought it and she thanked you for it. I saw that one.
yeah, yeah." So I've had all sorts of ages of people, um, buy the book and tell me that they love it, and then people to go onto the website and sign up for that wait list for the book that I'm writing now.
Is that the
Um,
right website right there?
yes, yeah, that's the homepage. So if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the picture of the I am book, and then there's a link to sign up to the wait list for the next book that's coming out. And like I said, there's going to be a course that I'm going to be selling, but for the people that sign up for the wait list, it'll be absolutely for free. And yeah, I would just encourage people to, um, I would say, just be the light for other people and provide value, especially to your children, for
Yep.
those parents out there. I think we're at a age, time in life right now where there's so much information coming at us, especially on the phones and in social media.
Yep.
So, like, having the home base, and you know this, we've talked before about parenting and homeschooling and things like that. And so, I believe parents are the first and most important teachers. And so, continue to teach your kids, no matter how old they are,
Yep.
teach them the important values in life and things of that nature.
And carve out that time to be intentional when you're with them.
Yes.
That's something you posted about on one of your Instagram short videos where you said, when you get home, don't just plop on the sofa and watch TV. Actually
Yes.
spend time with the kids.
Yes. Yeah. I stopped watching TV a few years ago, or like I stopped using TV as, the I'm gonna unwind and relax. So let me watch TV. And so like Like I do, I'm not gonna say I don't watch TV. Me and my wife still watch movies. I watch movies with my kids, but that's it. Like it's just when I'm spending time with them and they want to watch something, we'll do that. But we still, man, we're old school. Like we love playing or board games and video games together and things like that. Like my son, he's turning 7, and his request for a birthday party. I'm so proud to say this. My wife was like, "What are you thinking? People don't want to do that." He was like, "Wow, I just want to invite my friends from school over and play board games." And I was like, "Yes." She was like, "You don't want them to like play your Nintendo Switch or some other games or something like that? Like kids are not into that." And I was like, "Let the kid have the party he wants. Like he wants people to come over and play board games." Like I love that because we love playing board games. We got a bunch of board games. We play Uno, Scrabble. There's a game called Tapple, Monopoly, like Connect Four, all the board games we got.
You know what you can do when you do that? Pull the parents to the side and you guys play the rat race. You ever play the game Rat Race
Yeah, yeah,
with Kiyosaki? Uh, and that'll be your next clients, business partners. You never know. Uh,
that's a good one.
yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
Rat Race. Yeah, it's a great game. It's kind of hard in the beginning for the learning curve, but once you get going, it's like, oh wow, this is, and it'll help you sift out who may be your next business partner, or do a project together. You
Yeah,
never know. Well, I want to say thank you, and when we end the podcast, if you don't mind just hanging out, we'll talk in the back office, if you will. We'll be
yeah.
off of the air, but we'll be able to just say our final goodbye. So, question number one: why did you do this podcast?
Because I resonate with you as a person, as a father, as a husband. I think we would have a great conversation, and we did. So I appreciate you bringing me on because this was a great conversation.
Well, thank you for that. Number two: muscle ups or pull ups?
Right now, pull-ups. I'm working to get back to the muscle ups. I
I
used to
can't.
be able to do a lot of them, but
I can't
not
even do a muscle up. Question number three: 4-cylinder turbo or an 8-cylinder all natural pure horsepower?
8-cylinder.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah,
Gas or electric?
gas.
Money not an issue. Where are you taking your family to travel tomorrow?
Dominican Republic.
Yes, sir. If you win $1 billion, what are you doing with it?
I will hire a team, number one, to begin mass producing podcasts and just resources for parents and entrepreneurs.
I'm gonna tie 10% because I don't want that money to be cursed.
Well, that as well.
I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just making trouble. Number 7, Twitter or X?
I like Twitter.
So do I. I get what X represents. I think X sucks because you can't verb it.
Exactly.
You can't verb it. Like
I'm Xing right now, or I'm on a
it almost sounds like porno when you say, "Hey, I'm Xing right now." Like
right. It's like I'm on an X space. Like, what is that?
number 8, you buy an island
Mhm.
besides your family. 3 people that you invite to your island
Invite.
to live with you or to whatever, just to hang out with you.
Myron Golden, Dr. Huberman, and Jim Quick.
Who's
I'm
Jim
a
Quick?
Jim Quick.
Yeah.
So he is a brain coach. He was, I don't know if he still is to this day, but at one point he was the number one brain coach in the world. And so he teaches people speed reading, how to learn faster, how
Mm.
to improve your memory, things of that nature. Really brilliant guy. He's got a really good book, Limitless.
Limitless. I think. Oh, maybe I heard of that. That sounds familiar.
I think I just put it in one of these boxes. But
I just wrote it down.
yeah, I would have had it. It would have been up there on the bookshelf because I love that book. I read it at least once a year.
You know, one book that made me cry when I read it, and it's so ironic because my dad went to school with this guy. They were in the same elementary school. Was the Cash Flow Quadrant. When I read that book, I literally was weeping. I don't know if you ever read that book.
With
Uh,
Robert.
Robert Kiyosaki. Cash Flow Quadrant is such a powerful book because and we all know it to be true. We just never analyze it. When he talks about the cash flow quadrant, it talks about you got the B and the I on the left side, and you got the E and S. So no matter what you do, if you're an employee or self-employed, like a one-man band business-wise, you will always be a slave to that side. Whereas the B and the
Yep,
I
yep,
is where we talked about earlier, Jim Rohn, right? Profits versus wages. So
exactly.
anyways, I don't want to take a question. So next, number 9, what is the next big thing in social media?
YouTube, growing the YouTube channel.
Okay.
For me.
Last question, and then we'll close it out. What is your desire for the next generation?
To to fully explore and fulfill God's purpose for their lives.
That's a good pause right there. Can you say that one more time?
To fully explore and fulfill God's purpose for their lives.
It's good.
Yeah, that's what I teach my kids. That's what I strive to do in my life. And I feel God has called me to coach, to teach, and to help other people. So that's why I started doing this.
Coach, it's been an honor. I'm blessed, and I feel like
Was
one of many that we're going to do. And so I'm just very grateful. Thank you for being here. I'm going to close it out. We'll talk on the back end.
yes, thank you for having me on.
Much love, brother. Family, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor. I'm going to put him up right here real quick for his socials. Follow him obviously on his website. You can, I didn't have the full page loaded up, but this is his website. It's turboacademy.com. But also follow him on his socials, as well as you obviously here on X if you're watching it live. It's coach_Turby. Do me a favor, also support him. He took the time to write a book. It's available on Amazon. Who doesn't have Amazon? I know you do. So when you're done, go to Amazon, buy the book. If you don't think you need it, go buy it for somebody, bless them with it. Get their address. Hey, I'm going to send you something. $7, bro. $8. You know, or $7.97 since we're being specific. I'm very blessed to have a coach. The reason why I do these podcasts, family, is not so much for the entertainment value per se, but it's really for me to learn and to be able to share that with you guys. And I've been blessed to have some really beautiful guests, clinical psychologists, police officers, truck drivers, business owners. I've had a Alaska reality TV show guy by the name of Papa Bear Alaska in here, and Coach Turby, by far, I will say, is one of the guests that I would say has offered us a full palette of skills, experiences, things that we can apply to our lifetime, whether we're a father or maybe you're a mother, single parent, maybe you have a full house. But I'm just grateful that he's here. So make sure you guys follow him on all socials. And I'll close it out with this. If you learned something, do me a favor, mention it out in whatever socials you're watching this on, and let us know what you thought. Every comment, every repost means a lot. It does wonders for metrics. For the almighty algorithm in the sky, that's debatable what it does for, but we just want to know if you were touched or moved by today's episode. And if anybody's going through a tough spot or a dark place in your life, do me a favor, reach out to me in DMs wherever you're watching, and my wife and I will definitely keep you in prayer. If we can't help you in any specific way, we've got an amazing team of people that can. So thank you for watching, family. On behalf of my family and Coach and his family, because they gave up their time so we could spend time with you. So very big mahalo to our families. And so we just want to say we love you guys. God bless you guys. Ahui ho, aloha and mahalo. Yes, sir. Chew.